The MAN 26.240 was a popular truck in the 1980s, and in this configuration it's fitted with a miler tipper. This model, made by Conrad, comes in their standard branded box, and inside the model is contained within one of their expanded foam wrappings. There's no information supplied about either the real truck or the model, but in addition to the model there is a small bag of parts, and that contains aerials and mirrors. As usual with a Conrad model, the first thing you need to do is to separate some of the parts from their mouldings, and in this case it's the roof aerials, and a sharp modelling knife makes that an easy job. Fitting the door mirrors is a straightforward task. It just presses into a hole in the bodywork. The fit was a little bit loose on the review model, but a piece of plastic putty would sort that out and hold it in place. The aerials are best fitted using a pair of tweezers so that you can apply downward pressure just at the point where the aerial fits into the body, and that's a good fit and stays in place. On this truck all of the axles are driven, and this has been modelled well here with many of the parts in metal, and only the steering is a functional design rather than modelled for accuracy. At the front the MAN logo looks good on the grille. The lights in the bumper have lenses, but the rest are painted. The wheels look pretty good. The hubs are plastic, but they are well detailed, and there's a good looking fuel tank as well behind the cab. At the rear, the heavy nature of the truck's construction is modelled well, but the rear light clusters would have looked better with some different coloured paint. The tipper body is all metal with a multi-stage hydraulic ram, and there's good flexible mud flaps. And underneath the tipper there's a heavy chassis structure, and the leaf springs on the rear axles look very good. Out on the test track the tipper rolls very well, both in a straight line and also if you steer it a little bit. And there's a degree of movement on the rear axles to represent suspension. It's not sprung, but it does provide movement. But the steering at the front has a terrific range of movement, as you can see here, and even when it's put on a very sharp hard lock, the model still rolls well. Another feature that's good to see on an old-time truck like this is that the bonnet tips up at the front, and it can hold its pose when it's tipped up, and inside you can see that there's a chrome engine. The mechanism on the bonnet is very good, and when you're finished looking at the engine you can shut it nicely. The other working feature is the tilting tipper body, and it works with a multi-stage hydraulic ram, and that works very well, and it goes up to a good angle as you can see here. And the ram has got enough stiffness that it can hold any intermediate pose of tipping that you might want to set. This is really quite a likeable model from Conrad, and it looks particularly good when you load a few rocks into the tipper. The detailing is pretty good, the features work well, and it's an easy model to recommend.